All right, thank you. First of all, thank all of you for coming. We have a rather full house here, and we're also streaming this meeting with Dutch and his friends here, streamlining it to the web at this point in time. For those of you that are on the internet watching this, welcome. And we'll also, I believe Dutch is going to be thinking about putting this on a symposium website also, if I'm not mistaken. Now, first of all, I'd like to talk to you about today's town hall meeting. We're going to be discussing two specific issues, one being the pool temperatures, and the other one is discussion of items between board members and members of the association, board of directors, excuse me, and members of the association. Several of our board directors are on vacation, and they're not available, and that's why you see the representative that you do at this point. And actually, to have more than, if you had a quorum, then we would have to have a regular meeting, and we'd have to post an agenda and follow David Sterling and all that stuff like that. So this is primarily just a town hall meeting where we're talking about these two issues, and we're here to listen to your concerns regarding these two issues. We're not here to conduct any business. What I mean by conducting any business, we're not going to make any motions, we're not going to pass anything like that, and we're not going to sit there and tell you what the board's thinking on this. Merely listen to your input at this point. All right? So the first item, first of all, Miss Evelyn George is here. And I don't know if there's any other board members in the audience. I don't believe so. I believe everybody's pretty much not here today. And the first item that we're going to talk about is going to be the pool temperatures. Now, I have two segments, about an hour each. If we don't use the full hour, fine, we'll stop. But then Dutch and his associate will have to reload the camera anyway. They can only go about an hour and a half. So we'll stop after the first segment, let them readjust their equipment as they need to, and then we'll go into the second topic. All right? So the first one is going to be regarding the pool temperatures. Now, my only opening statement to that, I believe, when we had our last board meeting, and please forgive me, I can't remember the lady's name that got up and spoke at the board with so many of you regarding the pool temperatures, but I thought she had a great suggestion, having 82, 84, and 86. East 82, Central 84, and West 86. Now, but that being said, I'll have to be quite honest with you. I really don't care what the temperatures are set at. Right? It's up to you, the public. I mean, the community. If you want them at 86, if you want the West 86, fine, we'll do that. And maintenance has no. They don't care what the temperature is. All they want to have is direction. All right. So we're not arguing that point. The only time we'll argue anything or have a discussion about anything is if we think something's in a violation of a safety issue or something like that. But as long as it's not, the temperatures you want is fine with us. All right? Let's see, that being said, also, the maintenance department, they did not take it upon themselves to sit there and just make wholesale changes. All right? They were given that policy, which we have in existence, and it last approved in 2008. And they were given, this is the tone over we got from previous administration and facilities maintenance supervisors, and they had a little piece of paper that they would give usually to the maintenance people, and they would go out and adjust the temperatures accordingly, depending upon the seasons. And that's what it was. So they weren't trying to invent the wheel. They weren't trying to take it upon themselves to change temperatures. They were just trying to implement the procedures or policies that was presented to them. Okay. Now, that being said, it's open for, excuse me. Storage, do you have anything you wanted to add to that? Okay. It's open mic, but little rules about the mic. Please, no personal attacks. If you've got a problem with a policy, stick to the policy, what your concern is, but please don't bring names into it. Let's not get nasty. Let's try to maintain this, some kind of civility about this. All right? Yes, sir. And when you come up, please give your name and your where you live. Very true. Yeah. You got to press that until it turns green.
Okay, testing. Anybody can hear me?
Yeah, I think it's.
I have one question.
You just have to keep it.
Gary, Gary Curto, 265 Oak Shadow Drive. I'd like to know what the temperatures are set at for all three pools now.
Okay, my understanding is right now the pools are 84, 84, and 86. When I say 84 and 84.6, that's 84 for the east, 84 for the central, and 86 to the west.
Thank you.
That's my understanding at this point.
Brenda Steele, Oakmont Drive. I have here, you're going to have to bear with me, a little history about, and I titled it 2 Weeks in the Lives of Oakmont Swimmers. May 10th, 8 a.m., East Pool, temp is cold. Posted as being at 84. Called maintenance at 8:15 to report a possible heater problem, which we've had in the past. A maintenance person and a man from Sterling Rainbow came to the pool. The Sterling Rainbow man said the posted temperature was 84 degrees. I said he needed to put his hand in the pool. He did and said it was not 84 degrees and that he would look into it. May 11th, 8 a.m. East Pool temperature colder than Monday. Called OVA office, not open, left a message. Called maintenance office, no one there, leaving names out, left a message. Neither OVA office or or maintenance returned my calls. It was Friday, so we were heading into the weekend with water too cold and the hot spill had ended, which, by the way, has been true since May 11th. Sent an email to the board and to the manager saying the water temp was too cold, gave them history about the survey that was done by the swim club 5 years ago to determine what water temperatures were the most comfortable. Also noted that the months of May and September are sort of funky, so that's when the weather's all over the place. Did not hear back from either place or anyone. May 12th, East Pool still cold. Notices have been posted that the East Pool temperatures were going to be set lower than they had been for the past 5 years. Moving on. Posted signs were signed by the OVA board of directors. We all thought that meant this present board. Found out later, no, the other dude did it, which reminded me of my years at the public defender's office. Sent an email to the board admonishing them for making this decision without any input from the users of the pool, but I didn't know the other dude had done it, so, I added a sentence that this decision may not have been made by them, but by someone else. I called the board member to register the complaints about the pool being too cold. Was told that 2 women had complained that the pool was too warm. Explained to board members that happened on a very, very hot day, that lowering the temperature was a knee-jerk reaction to a temporary weather pattern, and told her board member about the survey and asked why the temperatures just couldn't go back to where they were 5 years ago. We swimmers decided, okay, we'll go to the board meeting on Tuesday to plead our case. May 13th, Sunday, Happy Mother's Day, East Pool was cold. May 14th, Monday, East Pool was cold. Received a voicemail message from an employee at the OVA office. I should call and talk to her about the pool temp issue. I decided that I would think about it because I was feeling pretty hot. She followed up her call with an email, cited the 2007 board policy and Facility Maintenance Committee minutes, which might give an uninformed person who is looking for justification for a badly made decision reason to believe that he or she was right. I responded to the email, copying to the board and to the OVA office, basically saying that the minutes in those 2 places did not fully reflect everything that transpired during that time. I was on facility maintenance at the time, and believe me, there was a lot of stuff lying around. Water was too cold, we raised it, it was still too cold, the survey was taken, we took a vote, blah, 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 blah. Finally, we came up with the temperatures as they have been for the past 5 years. I talked with those who had worked on the survey, and we all decided we would go into whatever we had left over. We did some research in preparation for the board meeting. May 15th, East Pool, still too cold. I missed a call from a board member saying, don't worry, everything will be fine when you come to the board meeting. Felt encouraged. Board meeting. Pool users spoke, some with great passion, which is what happens when you feel like no one's listening to you. No one gets. you want? Excuse me, it's my turn to mic. Gave a history of the pool temperatures. Please return to what it was 5 years ago. One pool user asked why the pools were not being covered.
How much longer is this going to take? You're taking
about a minute and a half.
All right.
One pool user asked why the pools were not being covered at night, which would keep the water warmer and would save on energy. And we were informed that they were being covered at night, which was contrary to what we heard the day before, that they're not being covered because the pool covers are ratty. Long story short for you, Jim, the board decided at that meeting that the pool temperatures would go back to where they were. We got to 2 days later and they were back to where they were. The water temperatures was good, we're happy swimmers, but unfortunately we feel like we weren't heard at that board meeting and that what was said at that board meeting was not what really was going to happen. And as you said, we the residents are the users of the pool and we are the ones who should be getting the pool temperatures that we want. The pool temp issue is just the tip of an iceberg of some problems here. And it's just not right that a knee-jerk reaction to a temporary weather pattern should have changed all this and caused 2 weeks of uproar. Thank you.
Hi, Pat Berjancic, Oakleaf Drive. I have spoken and written a letter, and we certainly are not being heard. In any event, there are people who can't make it to this meeting. It is an imposition. I'm sure it's an imposition for you too also. But I do have an email from Delia Mansell, and I thought I had her address, but I don't see it. Anyway, she wants to know why the temperature was lowered. I would like to know that too. I asked for some data on this. We have data showing that it certainly should be warmer than 81 and 82, or 80, as was written in the memo. Pete has written a memo, Pete Mattioli, 126 Old Oak Lane. He spoke with his cardiologist. Pete does have cardiac problems. And his cardiologist said that temperatures for people with cardiac problems should be between 84 and 86. We've done our research. That's what a pool should be. The temperatures of 80 to 81 are for competitive swimming. And those are brought out by the Red Cross, and they certainly aren't valid here. Some of the seniors do competitive swimming. Most of them swim at Finley, where it's 80. But 83 to 86 would be good. 83 in the winter is still a little cold. Mary Ellen Munson has written. The swim club was asked in 2009 what temperatures they should be. A vote was taken by the swim club, and they reverted to the temperatures of 2007. And that's where the pool was agreed to be 84 to 86 in the east, with the central somewhere in between, and of course, I think it was 86 to 88 on the rest. So please raise the temperatures back to what they were. In the winter, 81, 82, we'll freeze to death. 83 to 86 would certainly be acceptable.
All right.
Want the letters, or will this suffice?
That will suffice.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Lift it up, Gail.
Yeah.
Gail Raines, Oak District Court. I have never spoken before the committee, and I was one individual who called when I stood at the east pool where the warm water was coming in, and I did make a complaint. I didn't expect it to result in this brouhaha. I really didn't. But whatever, I can tell you this, that in all the years that I've been here swimming, the water temperature has been wonderful. Especially within the past, I would say, 3 years. I would comment to people that I'd be swimming with how wonderful things were and how nicely the pool has been kept. So just to take a little bit of the opposite side of the coin, I thought you should hear that too.
Okay, well, Gail, and what pool do you usually swim in?
I use the east, because I do the lab.
All right, thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Joan Steiger. My husband and I swim every night at the East Pool. And I want to say, first of all, that I don't think anybody is ever going to be completely happy with the temperatures anywhere. My take is that people complain constantly about it. We think, my husband and I, that the pool temperatures are fine. Sometimes they're a little bit cool, sometimes they're a little bit warm, but we love to swim, so we just swim. There are people we encounter in the evenings who refuse to swim. They say it's too cold. We think it feels great. So my take on all this is just a waste of time. Nobody in here, I venture to say, is going to agree on anything, except for maybe what they want. And so I just basically think that everybody's doing fine. Everybody's trying, it sounds like, from what I'm hearing, regardless of what Brenda Steele just said. But I'm appreciative we have these amenities. I think they're wonderful. I'm grateful we have them, and we enjoy using them. And I want to thank everybody for all the effort they're making. We like what we're getting.
Yes, ma'am.
Yvonne Alexander. It's a big street name that has only 2 houses. Meadow Ridge View Court. And you can't find it on GPS. So the UPS people have a hard time. I just want to say one thing about 84 degrees. 84 degrees, I have read, is the temperature of the exterior of the body. So if the water is 84, you don't even feel hot or cold. You just feel like you're in paradise swimming. So that's why people go for 84. But some people want to feel that they're colder. And I think with 3 pools, we should find a way to swim. If the East is too cold, you have 2 other pools to try, and they're free.
Thank you, Yvonne. Yes, sir.
Richard Cox, 6453 Meadow Ridge Drive, just up the road. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. First of all, I think this is a comic opera. It really is. I'm not going to waste much more time here, because a lot of people have left already. I just want to say I wish to express a vote of confidence in the committee, and to say that there are some very small-minded people here who cannot be pleased in any way at any time. Take what you get and get on with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Melissa Bowers, Oak Shadow Drive, East Pool swimmer.
That's Melissa, right?
Melissa Bowers. I am one who prefers the colder temperature, and by cold, I think 82 for the East. The dates that were recorded at 86 were way too warm. My head to put underwater, it was very difficult. Even as a lap swimmer, in water you do perspire, and your head does almost cook like a noodle at some point at higher temperatures. So it takes out your energy. So I would say if with the 3 pools in summer, which starts in late June, that the East Pool might be 82, and then you go from there on to the other pools. In winter, though, I would definitely agree it needs to be 85 because of the temperatures outside. But I also feel that it shouldn't be a win-lose situation. You know, you want one, I want this, you're going to lose, I'm going to win. It has to be some kind of fair compromise, knowing we have 3 swimming pools, and I think that is really a major key. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Corinne Monahan, 7776 Oakmont Drive. I have been swimming for 12 years here, and I haven't had a problem with it. 84 in the winter is just fine, as Melissa said. But in the summertime, even if the temperature goes down to 70 degrees, I mean, it's still too hot. I cannot stay in the pool longer than 15 minutes swimming laps, and I feel exhausted. The day that it went down to 81, I swam for 35 minutes before I even looked at the clock. And I really think this shouldn't be a matter of he says, she says, I like, you like. It should be a matter of health. And when you are in the water, you do perspire and you don't feel it. And your heart will start to race. I get a headache, I'm exhausted. And we have guidelines from the American Red Cross. And they say for really swimming hard, it should be 78 to 80. And we are a senior community, so maybe 80 to 82 is fine. 82 is perfect. I have no complaints with 82. But when it gets above that, I can't swim for my 35 minutes. I have to get out. But I really, like I say, it is a health matter. I have a friend who's a swimmer. I think you may have received an email or a letter from him. And he couldn't be here today. But he had a medical emergency after being in the water for, not our pool, but another pool. And it was a competition, but it wasn't a really strenuous competition. And he was in the water for 20 minutes at 84, and he had to be taken to emergency. And he had to have 3.5 minutes because he was so dehydrated. So, I mean, I really don't, and I don't think there's any question about the fact that the East Pool is a lap pool. The rules of the pool are up there. And there's even one that tells non-lap swimmers where to swim. Swim in the first lane if you are not swimming laps. So that pool has a history of being a lap pool. And we have 3 pools, and there's no reason why we can't have 3 different temperatures. We'll have one for lap swimmers that's safe. We have that big sign out by the road that says Oakmont, active senior community. And if you're preventing us from being as active as we know we can be, that doesn't fit. So thank you very much.
No, Corinne, I understand you say that you'd like to see 82, something like 82,
80 to
84,
82.
86,
No.
3 different pools.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
80 to 82.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
Nancy Crosby, 278 Valley Oaks Drive, East Pool swimmer. I don't have a lot of the history of some of the people here. I've only lived here for 3 years, but I've really enjoyed using the East Pool. It has tended to be warm as far as, again, as Corinne said, lap swimmers need the pool to be cooler. I do really appreciate having the fact that we have 3 different pools here. I think the suggestion of having them at 3 different temperatures because of the usage at each pool is a really good suggestion. I appreciate the fact that we're all different age groups between the 50s and the 90s that I know that people use the pool. But I think with the spirit of cooperation, that variance in temperatures is the direction I hope to be going so that it is comfortable for the most people so
Sure.
we can all enjoy what we're here for.
Thank you very much.
I'm John Crosby, Nancy's husband, 278 Valley Oaks Drive.
You said Josh?
John.
John.
John. And Oakmont identifies the East Pool as an exercise pool, a lap pool. That's its purpose. And there is very strong guidelines from the Red Cross as to what the temperature ought to be for an exercise pool. The maximum they call for is 82. We can handle 83, but as some people have already alluded to here, as soon as you get into temperatures above 82 or 83 for lap swimming, heavy exercise, there's a health issue involved. It's unhealthy. That's why the Red Cross sets it at that level. The health issue is cardiac arrest. It's similar if you're swimming laps at 84, 85 or more degrees. It's the equivalent of going out on a 100-degree August day and trying to run a couple of miles at high speed. It's a stress on the entire body, especially the heart. That's why this other fellow had the heart attack, the cardiac arrest. So this, I believe this gives the board exactly the backing that they need for setting pool temperature at that level. You have the Red Cross guidelines to fall back on as to where this should be. And I really think the other people have hit a major factor on the head here, which is we have 3 pools. There's something here for everybody. Nobody wants to take away from other people. I think we should be trying to let people that want to swim at one pool at one level do that, at other levels for other people. So the idea, to me, in my opinion, of going to 3 different levels, 3 different temperatures, 3 different pools is an ideal solution. And I applaud the board if they would take that approach.
All right, John, thank you very much.
I'm Denny Mawol. I'm not a lap swimmer, but I'm here because I'm a concerned husband of a lap swimmer. My wife Nadia swims over a mile 3 or 4 times a week when we're in town. In my mind, this may come down to a choice between comfort and safety. And we're asking, I respectfully ask the board to opt on the side of safety in that decision. Hugh Wilder, my neighbor, who's an expert swimmer, master swimmer, as a matter of fact, wrote the board an email on Tuesday. I don't know if you guys have it right here. Good. He unfortunately titled it pool hours instead of pool temperatures. I'm not going to go through the details of that, but he cites the Aquatic Exercise Association and publishing guidelines for lap swimming that also fit the 78 to 82.
That's correct.
Range. In talking about this with you, and you gave me permission to share this information, the analogy that his description of the effects, and other people have talked to that, of heat on lap swimmers, in my mind, is similar to carbon monoxide poisoning. Carbon monoxide poisoning, I think everybody knows, is insidious because the person being poisoned don't know it until it's too late. And that's what happens when you swim long distances in warm water, and some of the people have already commented on that. So again, all we're asking is that if you have to choose between safety and comfort, you opt on the side of safety.
All right. Thank you, Dan. Yes, sir.
Dan Connor, Oak Brook Lane. I'm actually really here to speak to my wife, Kay, who's working full-time. She's an avid swimmer. She comes at 8 o'clock to the East Pool. She swims 1.5 to 2 miles a day, 7 days a week. She's in the pool for an hour and a half or an hour and 3/4. She's been doing this for 2 years, and she liked the temperature the way it was. My issue is right now, I look at the pool, and there's a fluctuation of the temperature throughout the day.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if that's a function because of the equipment, or we don't have a temperature gauge that does that. I just don't know. That's a question I would have. She'd be fine with 82 if it were at 8 o'clock. I mean, that would be just perfect. If that means that the temperature has to go up to 87 in the afternoon, then we have to tweak that. Anyway, she's not a competitive swimmer, and she doesn't want to get into this San Francisco Bay or anything like that. Like
Yes, sir.
Gary Young, 484 Woodley Place. The whole concept of a pool being too hot or too cold is strictly subjective and has nothing to do with the numbers. If you set the pool, say, at a given number, it doesn't stay there. For an example, if you set the East Rec at 82 or 84, by the end of the day, it's up in the high 80s. And I can prove that. Yesterday, I brought my own thermometer down to the pool, East Rec, and it's a scientific instrument. It's not a kitchen thermometer. Put it in the pool, and it came up to read 86. And I did it a second time, 86. Well, 2 people in the pool who are longtime users swore on a Bible that my instrument was wrong and it was a different temperature. And I actually handed it to the man and said, "Here, you test it." And he said, "I don't care what your thermometer says, it's not 86. So what I'm getting at is that it's subjective. And by setting it at a given number isn't going to guarantee that's going to stay there for 1, and 2, that's going to make anybody happy. So in closing, I just want to say you can throw my vote on the pile that says I go for the 82, 84, 86 concept.
Oh, okay. Thank you, Jerry. Yes, sir.
Hi, my name is Ron Nicholson, 361 Greenfield Circle. I think I can be considered a serious swimmer. I've been swimming in the East Rec Pool for 10 years, and I have over 1,600 miles in that pool. I don't have any scientific evidence, but my preference has always been what I thought the pool temperatures were kept at when I first started a number of years ago. And I swim in the morning to avoid, in the summertime, having the pool heated up by the sun. And it was 80 to 81 in the winter, and 82 to 84 in the summer. That seems optimum. And I think, at least from my experience, the majority of the swimmers in the East Pool are serious people that do laps. We don't have so many what we call the waders and the bobbers, which I think should be using the West Pool. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir.
For walkers.
My name is Bill Martinovich.
I'm sorry, say that again. Say it again, I couldn't hear you.
My name is Bill Martinovich, 7525 Ferro Way. I'm a lap swimmer, and I realize it's hard to keep everybody happy, but you've got 3 pools here, and the East Pool, which is the lap pool, and all the lap swimmers I talked to last year since I moved here think the pool's too hot. And I think 82 degrees would be a fine temperature for the East Pool for laps.
Mm-hmm.
And it, yeah, that's about all I got to say. That's
all right. Well, that's fine, Bill. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Arlene O'Rourke. I visited several websites, and you don't want to hear the verbiage on that. But the thing I think I have to say is the one that said, the American Red Cross suggests 78 degrees Fahrenheit is appropriate for swimming, but this temperature is ideal for competitive swimmers, which we are not, and is quite chilly for regular swimming. So people who quote the American Red Cross are right. It's good for competitive swimming, as I say, which we are not. And the American Exercise Association Standards and Guidelines, the AEA, the world's largest certifying organization for aquatic fitness programming, has set the following guidelines based on current aquatic fitness research, knowledge of exercise physiology, biometrics, kinesiology, and physical properties of water. They recommend the water temperature, and this was as of March of this year. Competitive swimming, 78 to 82.4 degrees. Therapeutic and rehabilitation, which we don't have too many, 91 to 95.
Please, hold it. Don't give Arlene an opportunity here. Go ahead.
Older adults, moderate to high intensity, 83 to 86. Lance Armstrong's website says the ideal pool temperature for water exercise is 83 to 88. And I have several others for you on here also to confirm what these say. And to those people who say they've been swimming a long time, so have I. I've been swimming there almost daily for 19 years. And I try to keep up with Kay, but I can't. Yesterday, it took me a little bit longer. I swam for an hour and a half and did my 1.5 miles. But the temperature some mornings is too cold for even me. And I'm saying that 80 is too low, and 80 is posted upstairs on the bulletin board.
Mm-hmm.
And when I see that every day, I say, come on now, you told us that you would keep it at a more agreeable temperature, and I hope you will.
Okay.
Amadeo afternoon lap swimmer, and maybe that's the situation because a lot of people who lap swim, unlike me, are there when that pool opens at 8 o'clock, and I can appreciate going from the locker room to the pool and that first foot in the water. So I understand why it makes sense for them to have it warmer. It doesn't really make any difference to me because I swim in the afternoon. And sometimes if it's warm, I think to myself, well, you know what? Good, because my friends who swim at 8 probably wasn't quite so horrible for them to get in the pool. My general view is you have a miserable job. I've done it. But just being here listening to people, I think, is really helpful. And constant feedback and slight adjustments probably is what everybody's asking for, whatever that ends up being.
All right, thank you, Pat.
Excuse me, I didn't know if I mentioned this or not, but this lady cited the
AEA.
and Hughes found a lap swimming recommendation there of 78 to 82.
That's correct. I've got it written right here.
I didn't know if I said that.
Yes, you did. Melissa.
I just want to make a suggestion. When you come to your decision for all three pools, hopefully different temperatures, if you would post at each pool all three temps so that people know if one is too hot, one is too cold, they can go try another pool. Just actually post the information instead of having it something you have to memorize. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes.
I need Mosek. I prepared nothing for today. However, listening to these people, I would just like to make this request. I used to be a lap swimmer. I cannot lap swim anymore. I use the West Pool. And I'm asking that you please keep the temperature there at 86 and the east at 84, and I think you said the main pool at 82. The reason I request that, during this period when it was cold, many of the lap swimmers came to the West Pool, which made it overcrowded. And you know the West Pool is not that large. Furthermore, we don't have the whole day to choose when we swim because of the classes. So because of that, I think it would be nice to keep the temperatures where they're at now, and I think everybody will be happy. Again, when I was a lap swimmer, I used the East Pool. But I'm getting old. I've been here quite a few years. A lot has gone on. And I ask you to avoid the overcrowding at the West Pool, which can happen if you lower the temperature at the East Pool. Many of those lap swimmers will come to the West Pool. And we exercise at the West Pool. We do a little bit of lap swimming, not very much. Mostly it's exercise. So I beg of you to keep it the way it has been. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm Judy Burness.
You said Judy?
Judy Burness. I live on Wood Mountain Circle. I don't even swim, but I share with, I think, a number of other people some concern about the way the OVA appears to have been doing business lately. And I have a couple of questions, which you may not want to answer today, but number one, is the pool covered at night or not?
To my knowledge, the East and West pools are supposed to be covered at night. We're in the process of trying to find getting a customized cover for the Central.
Okay, so that's not exactly an answer.
And I told you, to my knowledge, the East and West are.
Okay.
Okay, so then.
See,
then you know
okay, the
answer,
board doesn't
right?
even really know if the pool's covered at night or not. Number two, what was number two? Who's responsible for ascertaining the temperature of the pool? And who do they report? And is it clear that their instruments are adequate for the job they're given? That's the end of my question.
Well, facilities maintenance is required to maintain the pools and the temperature. They do post the temperature, the exact temperature that they measured at each one of the pools. All right, they post it, this is what it is right now. Not saying that's what it's going to stay, but they're trying to keep people informed, saying, okay, it's supposed to be at 82, but right now I know it's 79 because I just measured it. They put up 79. Or if it's supposed to be 82 and it's 83, they're supposed to be putting up 83 to keep you informed of where it's at. They're just trying to be proactive on it, that's all. Now, as far as their instruments being accurate, I think you just heard from a gentleman saying that he used a scientific instrument, and so you can say whatever you want. All I can say is the facility manager did go to training last, I think last Thursday and Friday for pool certification. So I'm hoping, you know,
That tells
he
him
seems to be-
how deep he should test the temperature,
Well,
or what kind of instrument
well, I
to
don't
use
know
and
what their
stuff.
curriculum is. No, I can't say that. I can ask him that, but I don't know what.
Okay, so we don't really know what data we're working with.
All right. Well.
Okay, thank you.
No, sir. Go ahead. No. All right.
Could I ask a quick question? They don't put a thermometer in the water, they measure it in the pump room. Is that the best way to measure the temperature of the water? Is
No.
that accurate?
No, but I can't say that they're putting it in the pump room either. My understanding is they're putting it in the pool. But they should be putting it in the pool because you can't really measure the effluent or influent because one will be too cold, one will be too hot. Okay, you have to go out in the pool someplace where there's a mixture.
They used to do it at the West Pool. We could all check the temperature. They had one that hung down into the pool, which was very good, and we should have that again.
Good idea.
And that hasn't been there for years, and I could attest to that.
Oh, okay. Yes, sir.
Good morning. My name is Bill Penfield at 310 Mockingbird Circle. And for some time before we moved to Mockingbird Circle, we lived on Mesa Oaks Court, which is directly above the West Pool. And I can attest that every night massive quantities of steam were coming off of that pool because there was no cover. A neighbor of ours actually pulled part of that cover out and said it was so encrusted with spiders and gunk that it's quite obvious that that has never been covered. It's a tremendous waste of energy trying to keep a pool warm in 30-degree weather. That would be a good start to cover those pools. And I think the idea of putting a hanging thermometer in each pool might eliminate an awful lot of controversy. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's fine. I have a quick question. I think all three pools have solar panels on the cabanas or on the east pool. They have them on the building. Are they using those anymore?
No, not that I'm aware of.
There are solar panels. Did they take them down? They're facing the
I don't know if
tennis.
I don't know
They're
if they're
facing
hooked
the
up.
tennis courts,
I'll have
and
to
then
check them
the
out.
cabana here
Well, no,
has.
but I'll have to see if they're hooked up.
I wonder if they're using them anymore.
Yeah, that's why I find. Okay, so then what I'm hearing, as a recap, if I will, verify whether the solar is still being used, ensure that our covers are being used at night, and put a temperature gauge into the pool for people to look at. Now remember, okay, that can cause, once again, where you place the gauge, can cause, that's going to probably generate more questions and concerns than you solve, but that's something we'll look at. Somebody's talked about posting the temperature, but we do post the temperature. Okay, that's being taken care of. And let's see. And essentially, basically, what I'm hearing, okay, is from the community as a whole. I mean, we do have outliers and whatever I'm talking about here. But I get the consensus is that we'd like to have generally 3 different temperatures. Right? And we're talking around anywhere from like 82, 84, and 86.
Yes.
Is that, am I getting the gist or the flavor of what we're talking about here?
Yes. In the winter for West Street.
But I'm just saying, okay, we'll do 82, 84, 86. And now keep in mind, okay, that you're going to always have a little plus or minus on each one of these. And number two is, I think several of you come up and talk about, it could be a certain temperature in the morning, but as the day heats, especially in the summer, when the day heats up, all right, it's going to affect the temperature. All right, so you're not going to have people sitting there running back and forth. All right, so if there's, also, and I have to concur 100% on regarding something that came out from several of you, that we're looking at safety versus comfort in certain areas, and by all means, we have to err on the side of safety, much more than we do comfort. I mean, comfort is consideration. Safety's got to take the trump card, if you will, for that. All right? Yes?
I'd like to know if these temperatures should be maintained year-round or if they're affected by seasons. What are your opinions? Is this your desired temperature, 12 months out of the year, or just in the summer months?
I can speak for the West Pool only now, and it's pretty much the same at the West Pool because of the classes and because we exercise. Pretty much the same. Thank you.
For the East and Central's closed in the winter, but for the East Pool, it needs to go up as using common sense. I would take it up to 84, 85 on those frosty Januaries, but it definitely should go up because of the range of temperature, air versus the body, in my opinion.
Okay.
For one thing, I agree with Melissa. 84, 85 is necessary in the winter, and also the pool won't heat up so much in the winter. Won't heat up as much as the day wears on. But those frosty mornings are 84, 85.
Valerie Holsey.
Yes.
Oakmont Court. I just want to speak for the water aerobics class members that meet at the West. 86 is absolutely perfect, and it needs to be year-round. There's been many a morning during the winter when we've been out there and it's been 27 degrees, but if the water's 86, it's bearable. So, year-round 86, leave it like it is, and you won't hear from the 59 of us again.
All right. Okay, I think we've pretty much covered this. Did we miss anything else on pool temperatures at this point? If not, let's take a couple minute break here. Excuse me, Dutch, how much time do you need?
About 5 minutes.